Javontez Spraggins was beat up a little bit during spring camp and was somewhat limited. I don't think that's any major concern. Why? Because Javontez Spraggins is our 10th most important ball after spring camp. We'll count them down day in and day out, but Spraggins is number 10 for two reasons. He's a proven commodity with 37 career starts, mostly at right guard, where he only allowed 2 sacks in 699 offensive plays that he took part in last season. That's pretty strong. Spraggins gets overlooked, but he's one of the top 10 most important players heading into the 2024 season and summer workouts. Caleb?
Javontez Spraggins is a crucially important player for Tennessee. For those who question Josh Heupel's offense, and we repeat this all the time, but it's worth repeating again. This offense is nothing without the elite vertical rushing attack. Josh Heupel actually doesn't want to throw it that much. As a matter of fact, his best year record-wise was that first year at UCF. He ran it twice as much as, he ran it 45 times a game and threw it 30 times a game. That's the ratio he wants. He does. If Tennessee's throwing the ball more than they're running the ball in a season, they're in trouble. That's actually a big problem. They want to run it more than they throw it. They just want the passes to be there.
You know, the other thing I find incredibly interesting about Tennessee's offensive line is they can get by with lighter tackles. Now I think we're seeing Herd. They want the big guys. You always want the bigger guys that are the same speed and athletic as the younger guys. You always want the bigger guys if you have the choice, but they've been able to get by with some smaller offensive tackles. Now their tackles are getting bigger, and I wonder if they'll be even more run-based. Is that possible with this offense and what we know about it and what we know about what Josh Heupel likes to do? Because Spraggins, to me, is a run block type of offensive lineman.
Well, that's where I was getting at. Yes. So Spraggins is what makes the run game go for Tennessee. Spraggins is the big reason it goes, and it starts and ends with Spraggins, and that's what makes it so crucial. And you notice Tennessee, I mean, we've been critical of Joe Milton, and oftentimes rightly so, but part of their step back last year had a lot to do with Spraggins getting hurt at the end of the year. And I think Spraggins, he really clears the way for the run game. Guys, I told you Tennessee just needs bodies at running back for the most part, because that vertical rushing game is going to be there because of the interior blocking. Spraggins is the most important interior run blocker on the field. And quite honestly, he's an all SEC caliber guy. Massive. I think Javontez Spraggins, experienced. A guy, by the way, more credit where credit's due. Jeremy Pruitt found him out of nowhere coming out of Illinois. And this is another one of those guys. Again, you guys can say whatever you want about Jeremy Pruitt, and I get it, but that dude evaluated talent better than any coach Tennessee football's ever had.
Here's another reason why Spraggins is so important this year, and it's brought to you by Boundless Moving. From the 2-hour minimum to turnkey operations, they've got you covered. That's Boundless Moving in East Tennessee or in Charlotte. Boundless Moving. Other reason is because everybody's hoping Peyton Lewis is great. Everybody's hoping Cam Seldon is great, but we don't know that yet. I think we all like Dylan Sampson, but because of his size, he's limited in the times he can touch the ball. So I think to have a big push up front would make a big difference in Tennessee's ability to run the ball if they don't have a special tailback. And they might, but as of right now, we don't know.
Yes, that's very true. That's a big part of it. Really, the only question becomes with tailback, do you have vision or can you pick up pass pro? You don't have to be that athletic or shifty. The holes are going to be there to pretty easily hit. So there's not a lot of agility you necessarily need. You just need vision and be able to pick up pass pro. And Spraggins is going to be a huge part of that. Now, I mean, we'll talk about Cooper Mays later down the road when we do this. Obviously,
he's going to rank pretty high. Spraggins is number 10.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, Cooper. I don't think, and I know people are like, oh, I don't think I shocked anybody with the fact that Cooper Mays is going to be on this list. So that's why I didn't feel bad mentioning him. But that'll also be a crucial part of the run blocking too. But Spraggins is the key run blocker that makes things go and also takes advantage of a lot of the downfield blocking that's allowed in college football now. And because you're right, he is another. I mean, Tennessee's offensive line has size, but they're very agile for their size, and Spraggins fits that perfectly. So I think Javontez Spraggins is a And he's just so experienced. I think Tennessee is going to be, I think they're going to thrive if he can stay healthy. And if that run game goes, and Dave, you know this, pick up 5 yards on the ground. You pick up 5 yards, then the passing plays are going to be there in this offense.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Travis compares Jerome Bettis to Khalifa Keith. That's quite a comparison. Khalifa Keith, from what I have heard, has changed into, talking to people around and within the program, has kind of changed from one of those fullback types that could do what Princeton Fant did to a guy that may actually be a real running back. That is
really,
yeah, that's a positive. I don't think it's done yet. And I don't think you're talking about a feature back of Lewis or Selden's stature, but I think you're talking about a back that can do it. If Tennessee has 4 average backs, and let's say Sampson's average because he can only touch the ball, 16, 18 times because of his size. So you got these 4 backs, the other 3 of which prove to be average, not carry limits, but Sampson has that. Is this a good, great, or elite running game, or average? If all the running backs prove to be fairly average, can the offensive line make up for it? I guess is the convoluted question I was trying to ask you.
On the right side, they absolutely can. Now there's a question at left guard, but Mays and Spraggins together can absolutely make up for an average run game. They can turn an average run game into a good run game.
Speaking of, I'm ready to defend Andre Carrick after watching some tape when you're done. You called him out at left guard. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I was going to say was if Dylan Sampson picks up pass pro, they're going to be elite because Dylan Sampson is deadly with the ball in his hands. But the thing I will say is I don't think it's a big deal if you don't have a running back who can turn a 5-yard gain into a touchdown run. I don't think that's necessary in this offense.
I think Andre Carrick has a lot of upside we haven't seen before. I think Tennessee's coaches brought him in based off the conversation I had with somebody, and they brought him in to kind of be a utility guy. And I'm not sure that he ever learned left guard as well as he should have. Now, he may not be good, and you're giving me the kind of that condescending, doubtful look, and that's fine. But he started once at right tackle, once at left tackle, once at jumbo tight end, which technically isn't even a starting spot. It's just 22, but they list it on UT's website. And then he was hurt for the last 7 games of last year. I don't care if it's Andre Carrick or Bob Smith. That's not the kind of season you star in, Caleb. You got to give me that. You play 4 different positions to start, and then you end hurt for the last 7 games. Let's cut Andre Carrick a little bit of slack.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
A little bit of slack.
Okay, I'll cut him some slack, and sometimes players take a step forward the next year and prove me wrong. So I could be fair with you on that, but I guess my question is, was he moving around because they didn't know where to put him because he wasn't good anywhere?
That's fair. That's fair.
And
there was some uncertainty there. So did they make a bad call I think what makes this hurtful, if this was a true freshman that came in and played like that last year, you'd say, wow, way to go. Okay, but he didn't. So,
and don't forget, he started at left guard against Virginia, and then they started moving him around.
Yes. So you're right. Either they couldn't find a place to put him, but there were injuries with Cooper Mays, and there were injuries all over the line. I'm just going to say I think he has – okay. I think he can be, let's say, below average, very good elite. I think he can be a very good offensive lineman. I'm not saying he has ability to be elite, but I'm going to go very good. And I think you're going to see it earlier this season than later. I think you're going to be like, okay, I'm good with Carrick now at left guard.
Okay, let me do this.
But you notice I'm not saying elite. You notice I'm not going down that road.
Yes. This isn't a crazy Caleb conspiracy, or maybe it is, but it's a are you gonna hit the board for this one? All right. Andre Carrick actually didn't play the last 7 games due to injury, so it wasn't like he was reported like injured and playing. Unlike Dante Thornton, who had reportedly been hurt at the beginning of the year before missed the end of the season, and we know what happened to Dante Thornton because he got hurt.
Yeah, Josh Heupel. is so beloved by his players, they don't get mad about it. But the way he handles injuries just really makes them look bad.
It does. Here's the other question I'm coming with. I'm told I was too hard on Dante Thornton because he was injured at the first part of last year. Now I'm told I was too hard on Andre Carrick because he missed the last 7 games due to injury. By the way, that injury is not disclosed. Okay, conspiracy coming in.
No, he's not eligible for a red shirt.
No. It's not a red shirt. It's not a red shirt. Is Tennessee lying about injuries to cover its players for lack of production? And I come to this by saying, did Andre Carrick just get benched the last 7 games? And did the Josh Heupel come out and say he was hurt to cover for him?
Elias says,
that's crazy.
Caleb conspiracy segment. You know they sell orange tinfoil. I did not know that. There's something there.